This is called The Healing Power of Far Infrared. It's a newspaper, and there's a couple of doctors that have written information here, but this is Dr. Brous, Dr. Richard Brous, and he's a chiropractic physician, biochemist, certified clinical nutritionist, teacher, author, and lecturer on health preservation and disease prevention. And he says, far infrared can help ease the pain and symptoms of problems such as arthritis, cancer, allergies, asthma, stress, injuries, diabetes, muscle fatigue, and poor circulation. Kind of all the things I just mentioned that we've had results with. And it says, we've even used it for people recovering from cancer surgery. In almost every instance, it seems to reduce pain and speed the healing process. Then Dr. Lipton, who's also in this paper, he talks about some of the benefits of the far infrared dome. The far infrared dome raises body temperature, which has many benefits. It promotes the killing of many pathogenic diseases causing bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites. The far infrared dome helps athletes recover faster from athletic trauma. It promotes rebuilding of injured tissue by having a positive effect on the fibroblasts. The far infrared dome detoxifies the environmentally ill patient. Far infrared brings about significant detoxification of heavy metals, including mercury and other environmental pollutants. So again, the far infrared is absolutely phenomenal for many, many things. In fact, I want to read just a couple of shorter testimonies on the far infrared hothouse. This one comes from Pam Connick in Los Angeles, California. It says, here's my testimony using the hothouse with a yeast infection. Once a year I get a yeast infection. I felt the familiar symptoms of itching and burning, so I went under the hothouse for 2 hours while I slept. The next day the itching was reduced. I did the same thing that night, and the next day all the symptoms disappeared. Pam Connick, Los Angeles, California. Here's another one from Katie Woolman, who's up in Canada. For the past 4 years I have been a diabetic, taking pills for my diabetes on a daily basis. Then I was introduced to the Qi machine in the hothouse. A couple of weeks after started using the Qi machine, I had an appointment with the health nurse. The nurse told me that I had too many lows on my daily monitoring chart. She recommended that I stop taking my pills for 1 week and monitor the results. If I were to have any problems, I should call and make an appointment. It has been nearly 7 months, and I still haven't made the call. For years, I have been watching what I ate. My husband and I eat quite healthily, and yet I have been unable to lose weight. After the Qi machine and hothouse came into my life, I have lost over 30 pounds, and I feel great. I have more energy than I have had in years. This is my testimony of how the Qi machine and hothouse have turned my life around. I have stopped taking my pills, lost a lot of weight, and I feel more alive. This has made a dramatic improvement in my life. Katie Woolman. Again, the machines are phenomenal. All you got to do is use them. I wanted to read the precautions that the company states on the hothouse. Now, on the new hothouses, there's a warning on the side of the hothouse saying, do not use it over your face. Now, again, we've already talked about that. We've used it over the face. Many times we just keep the eyes closed. We use the moistened cotton balls or Kleenexes. In other countries, they haven't stopped using it over their face. It's one of those things that the company was told they had to put on the hothouse. So I tell you, you use it how you want to use it. Also, the warnings. It says this device should not be used if you have any acute diseases, open sores, a serious heart condition, are using a pacemaker, or have serious high blood pressure. Now, if I were to have followed the company's precautions that they state here, I wouldn't have been able to save that guy's toe that had that open sore. I wouldn't have been able to use it on people with diseases like fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, cancer, MS, all those things. I consider diabetes and all those things acute diseases. So again, the company has their warnings, but you're in charge of your life to do as you see is most going to benefit you. Now, what I recommend is that if somebody does have a pacemaker, they definitely don't use it over the pacemaker. You could use it over your head, over your legs, over your arms, but don't use it over the pacemaker unless you've got your doctor's approval. And we've had a couple of people that have taken the information to their doctor, and the doctor said that that was okay. But again, I would be cautious on that. We've had a few reports now with people saying they're using it and they've got cancer. And I want to just state this. This was a gal, came to our meeting about 6 months ago, and she had been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. The doctors sent her home. They said there's nothing they could do. She used the hothouse over her cancer area. I tell people, wherever the problem is, use it over that area. She used it for 68 hours consecutively. She kept turning it on. After every hour, kept turning it on. She took it to bed with her. She laid underneath it. She slept underneath it. She ate underneath it. The only time she got up was to go get some food or go to the bathroom or do some laundry. So she stuck with it almost 68 hours. She went back to the doctor, and they retested her after she used it for almost 3 days, and they diagnosed her as stage 1 cancer after almost 3 days. Then the doctor said, "We can now treat you." And she said, "I'm out of here," and she left. I met a gal up in Canada who was diagnosed with stomach cancer. It was the size of a grapefruit. And in fact, no, I didn't meet her personally. The gal that worked with her shared the story. She said it was diagnosed the size of a grapefruit, stomach cancer. She didn't own a hothouse, but this friend of ours borrowed her the hothouse over a weekend, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. Used it all weekend, went back to work for a week, borrowed it again, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, used it the whole weekend, went back to a doctor and got diagnosed. It was then the size of a golf ball. My father borrowed the hothouse to a friend of his up in Foley, Minnesota. The guy had some kind of a growth about the size of a tennis ball on his side. We don't know what it was. He did not go to the doctor. He used the hothouse for 1 week straight, 1 to 2 hours a day, and it disappeared. To this day, we don't know what it was. To this day, he doesn't care. It's gone. He feels good, and he bought a hothouse, and he uses it once or twice a week just to maintain his health. So I tell people, use the hothouse. Now with the hothouse, more is usually better, and you should drink twice as much water with the hothouse as you do with the chi machine. The chi machine, we recommend 4 ounces before the chi and about 8 ounces afterwards. And I said water. I did not say alcohol. I did not say pop. I did not say coffee or tea. Water. With the hothouse, because it tends to create that heat internally and work internally, it's going to make you more thirsty, and that'll help flush out more toxins. So again, twice the amount of water. And if you're going to be using it for long periods of time, the company only recommends 1 or 2 hours a day. But again, people are using it at their own discretion for many, many hours, if they've got a severe problem. If I had a severe problem like that, I would also use it that long. But drink water, a lot of water. Now, also sometimes what can happen is when you're using the hothouse, if you've got a pain, it may get worse. We've had some people where it got so bad they almost had to scream, but they stuck with it, and after about 15, 20 minutes, the pain went away and it was totally gone. Now, it was hurting to begin with, but it actually got worse before it got better. So if that ever happens to you, I just want you to know it could get worse before it gets better. So that's pretty much everything in the hothouse, and I hope you share these machines with anybody that has any of the problems we've listed today.